It's another exciting year of college hockey in the CCHA. I always love this time of the year. The leaves are beginning to turn. College football season has begun, which means college hockey is just around the corner, and we get underway here in just a couple weeks. I'd like to welcome our new Assistant Commissioner of Operations, Byron Sinstegard. He's a graduate of St. Thomas. He's worked previously at Northern Michigan and Minnesota State University. So we're excited to have him take over for Dean, who did a terrific job his time with the CCHA. I'd also like to welcome two new coaches to the CCHA. Dennis Williams, a Bowling Green graduate, returns after a stint in the Western Hockey League and coaching for the Canadian World Junior teams. He'll be a great addition, as will Dave Shayak, former national champion at Northern Michigan University, graduate. I know he's excited to return to his alma mater, as is Dennis. So looking forward to their transition over the course of the year and everything that we can do to assist them as they return to the CCHA. We're also excited with our new streaming partner in Midco. We've been extremely impressed with behind the scenes working with Mark Powell and everybody from Midco over the course of the summer. People can sign up now, and they've done a terrific job with the Summit Conference, and we're very, very confident that the transition to Midco will be highly successful for our viewers and the CCHA. Also looking forward to Augustana joining the league a year early, and that's really a credit to Augustana. When you look at what they've been able to do with their program, opening up the new Midco Arena midway through last season, their attendance, the success they had with their program, they were requesting to see if they could get in a year early to assist their program and their student athletes, and with an opportunity to be in our playoffs at the end of the year. So I give our athletic directors a lot of credit for looking at the big picture and allowing them in. There is a little nuance to it that we will be moving to a points percentage, just like we had during the COVID years for this one season, as they'll be playing 16 games and everybody else will have 26 games. But we thought that it was the right thing to do, and just really excited for Augustana, their program, and their continued growth in college hockey. We obviously expecting the close race in the CCHA. Like last year, it went down to the final weekend. When you look at the preseason polls, and 4 teams, and Bemidji State, our defending champion, St. Thomas, Minnesota State, and Michigan Tech all received first place votes. So we certainly anticipate a very, very competitive race as what we saw a year ago. There's also, as we know, a lot of changes in the NCAA landscape. We're still waiting. We thought the House settlement would take place a couple weeks back, but the judge threw that out. So there's a lot of change brewing as far as the NCAA. We already have unlimited transfers. The NCAA is looking at their amateurs and rules, which certainly, as we all know, there's been a lot of talk on what's going to happen with the CHL and college hockey if with the lawsuit, that's Masterson lawsuit, what's going to happen. We're all kind of following what the future looks like in the NCAA. So the next 12 to 24 months will be certainly an interesting time, what the rules will look like for college hockey, and what that means for the development path for a lot of hockey players. So with that, I'd be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Thanks, Don. And just noticing the last couple of years, Don's section actually ran over what we allotted. So we've given some more time to ask Don some more questions. So if you have one, please raise your hand using the hand raise function, and I will call on you and allow you to get that in. We have one here from Jay. Jay, go ahead.
Hi, Don.
Hi.
Just curious. You spoke a lot on Augustana specifically, and some of the things that made them an attractive early option for you guys as a league. So can you just speak to, maybe the rare air a little bit of having the kind of success that they were able to put together right away year one?
Well, I think you have to go back to, from an institutional standpoint, from the President Hurst to Sandlin to Josh Morton, their athletic director, Garrett Reboyne, their head coach. For the last couple of years, they obviously had a plan, and a very successful plan, whether it was fundraising for the new facility, make sure they hired the right coach, the commitment level from their institution. And they pretty much hit a home run last year in their preparation for their new team. And when I was there when they opened up their new facility and see a packed 3,000 people, the excitement in the Sioux Falls community, that they did everything right. And teams that are looking and they want to think about adding college hockey, I think they need to pay a visit to Sioux Falls and Augustana to see how you do it. And because of their success, I think that was a big reason, their facility being finished. That was a big reason why we kind of looked internally and said, why not allow Augustana to come in a year early? As I said, it creates a couple issues, but they're small when you look at the big picture of what it'll do, continue to do for their program and the excitement for their student athletes, knowing that they have a path into the NCAA tournament. That's another piece of it as well, is that they are eligible for the NCAA tournament, and without a playoff, it makes it difficult at the end of the year. So because of their success, because of their commitment, that's the reward that Augustana is getting to come into the CCHA a year early.
Jack Hittinger. Go ahead, Jack.
Jack Hittinger from USCHO. Just maybe just adding on to that, I know with the other big news this offseason was St. Thomas announcing they were leaving in 2 years. I guess first, what impact did St. Thomas leaving have on you guys deciding to add Augustana right away? I guess my second question is, with St. Thomas leaving, is there some awkwardness there with St. Thomas, or are they going to be they're in the league for 2 more years, so obviously they're going to be a member for 2 years, but how does that sort of transition work with St. Thomas leaving and Augustana coming in, and just as far as like making decisions on behalf of everybody in the league and all that good stuff?
Well, I think it was talked about during that transition time, and when St. Thomas notified us that I think that everybody felt that Augustana was really committed to the CCHA, and so why shouldn't we do everything we can to assist them and to continue to grow their program? So there was some discussion regarding that. So that was, if they weren't as successful as they were in year one, if they didn't have their facility finished, I don't think they'd be in a position to be in our league this year. But their arena is finished. They had a very successful season, and we want to do everything we can to assist them and to continue to develop their program. As far as St. Thomas is concerned, that they are a member, a good standing member in our league for the next 2 years. They'll be treated just like any other league member. Our decisions will be made on what's in the best interest of the CCHA. They've done a terrific job building their program, and they made a decision what they thought was in the best interest of St. Thomas. We see that happening across the country in college athletics at this time. So, we understand that and respect that, and it's a business decision, and, we'll move on and move forward, and, we'll make business decisions in the next couple of years in the best interest of the CCHA. And that's what every institution has, is they look out for the CCHA and what's best for our league as we move forward.
Jared Ribedo.
Hi, Don. Jared Ribedo, the Bemidji Pioneer. I want to ask you about the decision to go with the points percentage this year, including Augustana, and were there any alternative ways in, factoring in their limited amount of conference games, or was just really this the only kind of route that made sense in determining a McNaughton Cup champion this year?
Well, we looked at alternatives. Augustana was not in a position to drop non-league games because of contracts. So our original plan was to play 16 games against Augustana. They'd play everybody twice over a 2-year period, 4 teams home, 4 teams away. In year 2, it would be the opposite. So they had their 16 CCHA games scheduled and 18 non-conference games. And then we looked at, originally it was going to be 24 league games plus Augustana. So we decided to include the Augustana games in our conference. We couldn't go up points, obviously, because they're only playing 16 games. So, the points percentage made sense. And we've all lived it before during COVID, so it's not that unusual. I go back to when I played in the WCHA back in the 70s. There was an unequal amount of games. Some teams played 28 games, some teams played 26, and others played, I think, up to 32 games. And so some games were worth a little bit more. Obviously, the games against Augustana will have extra meaning. But we think it's still a good reflection when Augustana will be playing every team a 2-game series. So it will see everybody within our conference. And we thought it was the best option if we were going to move forward and allow Augustana in. And I think you'll see Augustana come in and be certainly more than competitive as they showed last year.
Going to get to as many questions as we have for Don here. We have Trent Singer next up.
Hey, Don, Trent Singer with the Rink Live at Sioux Falls Live. You mentioned the ongoing litigation, considering major junior players in Canada and the possibility of them being eligible to play in the NCAA. I'm just curious, what from a commissioner's perspective, how do you feel like that impacts a league like the CCHA and maybe more on the broader scale of college hockey and how that impacts college hockey as a whole?
Well, again, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking on behalf of the other commissioners or anything like that. There is a divide. I mean, if you look at college hockey right now, you're going to have some coaches want to open up the major junior, others do not. I think it's a little bit of a fear of the unknown. Obviously, if the Canadian Hockey League opens up, and then that's going to open up some spots in Europe. So it's not just a CHL issue, because you have the players in Europe that play in a system within their communities, and they play club and junior, and then there might be some injuries to the professional team, and they call up a player for 6 or 8 games, and they're not signing a new contract, but then that player is deemed professional and he has eligibility issues. So it's not just a CHL issue, it's an issue with European players as well. The more players that are available, it just stands to reason, in my opinion, that you're going to have a bigger and better pool of players. So the talent level, I think, across certainly college hockey and the CCHA would improve. It would, I think, have a better opportunity to level the playing field in some instances. And in the long run, I think it would be a positive for college hockey if those players were available. It would alter the development path to a degree. But I also believe that there'd be far more players coming through the NCAA ranks before they went on to play in the NHL. And currently we have about 30%, 33% of the players in the NHL have played college hockey. And I think you'd see that number climb to over 50% if we did open that up. So we'll wait and see what happens. But when you look at, college athletes making up to $1 million right now, what happens with the House settlement, it just seems to me it stands to reason that, hopefully that will happen in the coming years. But again, as of now, those players are not eligible, and until there's a change from the NCAA, they will remain ineligible.
We have time for 1 or 2 more. I see Dave Ellis hand up there.
Hi, Don. Dave Ellis from TV6 and Fox UP and Marquette. Bowling Green's going to host a regional this year, so we actually get a real Midwest regional for once. If the system stays the same in the NCAA tournament, is the league doing anything to help some of the member schools be one of those host teams that can have a regional site that's closer in the footprint?
From the league standpoint, to my knowledge, no league is doing that. It's something we could discuss. Obviously, when you bid on a league, our facility, the institution has a number that they have to have. I think it's great that we're going to have one in the Michigan, Ohio area. I think that's the one area that's underbid, if you want to use that term. But that Michigan area, northern Indiana, Northwest Ohio is an obvious spot to have one of the regionals. And so as we move forward, hopefully there'll be more bids coming from those areas, because I think it's good for college hockey that, you know, we have a couple based in the East. We have somebody, a regional based in the Michigan, Ohio, Indiana area, and certainly in the Minnesota, Dakotas, Colorado area. I think that's good for college hockey and our fans. And so it's great that Bowling Green stepped up. And, you know, I've been to a regional, watched one in Toledo before. My son was playing. So it's a great venue and it's a great location. And hopefully we'll have a CCHA team in Toledo this spring.